Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction video. Now last time out I got one score correct, and it was Burnley beating Watford 2-1 after a very late comeback, which put them in a great spot, but now leaves Watford needing to win all of their games whilst Leeds lose all of their games for Watford to be safe. So pretty much relegated Watford. I mean, there's like a 0.00 something percent chance they're going to stay up, really. So to me, Watford are relegated, but it's not fully confirmed as of yet. That wasn't good for Watford, but Burnley, they're rising, and now they're above Leeds as well as, jumping out of the relegation zone above Everton. So Burnley have got the easiest run in, a few more good wins, a few more good results, and they're as good as safe. So a good job that they've managed to do, considering where they were, about halfway through the season. They were terrible, but Burnley, yet again, look like they're going to survive relegation, which is just credit to everything that, Sean Dyche has done over the last few years, and, what he did this year, and now with Mike Jackson taking over, they've managed to do a good job. Before we get into the predictions, I want to set a like goal. Let's try and hit 10 likes on this video, and make sure to subscribe. I'm at 119 subscribers as of recording, so close to that 120 mark. I want to try and hit 130 by the end of the season. So let's try and do our best to get as close to that as possible, and let's get into the predictions. And starting off with Brentford taking on Southampton. Brentford, they've done a very good job. They're safe now, so a very good season for Brentford, considering it's their first in the Premier League, and they've been in good form recently. They did lose their last one 3-0 to Man United, but before that, they were unbeaten in 4, winning 3. So Brentford have had a very good first season. Southampton, they have not been in very good form. They haven't won in their last 3, and they lost their last one 2-1 to Palace. That Wilfried Zaha goal in 90+2 took a point away from them, ended up losing. And if it wasn't for that really good run of form in the middle of the season, they'd probably be down in a relegation battle now. But Southampton are one of those teams that always seem to have a big run at some point through the season, which, gets them into safety. For this one, I think Brentford are a bit better at the moment, and being at home, I'm going to go Brentford to win 2-1. Burnley take on Villa next, and Burnley won 3 in a row, and their last one was that 2-1 against Watford, a late comeback, which jumped them all the way up to 16th in the league now. So it looks like they're going to be safe, and now it's between Leeds and Everton for that last spot, as long as Burnley, don't let their form slip now. They're playing a Villa side that won their last game 2-0 against Norwich. However, they didn't win in 5 before that, losing 4, drawing 1. So this Villa side, it looked quite bright at the start under Gerrard. I thought, okay, they're going to be pushing up, finishing top half. But they have really, slowed down towards the end of the season, and it's looking like it's going to be a bottom half finish for Villa. So have they really progressed under Gerrard? I know he hasn't had that much time to get, players or anything like that. He's sort of working with someone else's squad, really. He needs the summer to build, but he hasn't done as well as I thought he would. There's been a lot of games where you think, oh, okay, you're playing against a team at the bottom half of the table. You should give them a good game, and then they go and lose. And yeah, they haven't progressed as much as I thought. And that's why I'm going to go with this prediction. I think Burnley are in such good form at the moment. They're rising from the ashes. I'm going to go Burnley win 2-1. Chelsea take on Wolves next. And Chelsea, they lost their last game 1-0 away at Everton. And they haven't really been in good form for a while now. They haven't been consistently winning games. And I'm a bit worried. It might sound like a big one, but that they might just slip out of these Champions League spots, with Arsenal now only 3 points behind them. Tottenham also, just just a little bit away, and they're both in better form. So we'll have to see how they do here against the Wolves side that have lost 3 in a row without scoring in any of them. And they lost their last match 3-0 against Brighton. So Wolves, they are struggling now. They did have such a good season and they did have a chance of a European spot, but with their current form, looks like they're just going to miss out. However, for this one, I think Wolves are going to get a point for some reason. So I'm going to go 1-1. Palace take on Watford next. And Palace, they won 2-1 against Southampton after 3 without a win. Watford lost 5 in a row and they need to win all 4 of their remaining games to survive, with Leeds losing all 4 of their remaining games. I don't think Watford are going to win all 4 of their games no matter what Leeds do. Watford are in very poor form. Not officially relegated because it's still mathematically possible that they can be safe. But after this weekend, Watford will be relegated. Palace to win 3-1. Brighton take on Man United next. And Brighton were in such poor form a few months ago. But they've only lost 1 of their last 6. And they won their last game 3-0 against Wolves. They really have turned it around. They're playing a Man United side that won their last game 3-0 against Brentford, but are now 5 points off the top 4 with 2 games remaining. So Man United looks set for a Europa League spot. I don't think they're going to be in the Champions League next season. And Erik ten Hag is going to be there for the Europa League. So that could be a bit of a goal for them next season to try and win that competition. But as far as this game goes, I was so tempted to go for a home win. But I can't do it because every time I go against Man United, they always seem to, do something. Unless it's against a big side that are in brilliant form. Yeah, like I went for them to lose to Brentford, last weekend. And they ended up winning it, like 3-0, pretty emphatically. So, as far as this one goes, I'm down the middle, 1-1. The big one now, Liverpool taking on Spurs. And Liverpool, they're still 1 point off the top with 4 games remaining. They won their last game 1-0 away against Newcastle. And in the week, they progressed to the Champions League final. So congratulations to them. They'll be playing Real Madrid in Paris. Do you reckon they can lift that trophy? Let me know down below. They're playing a Spurs side that won their last game 3-1 against Leicester. And they are 2 points off the top 4. So they're really going to be going for it. It's a tough one to call. But the one thing I think, and I predicted this against Newcastle, I thought Saint-Maximin was going to, cause havoc against Trent Alexander-Arnold. And he didn't end up playing Alexander-Arnold, so it didn't really work out. This time it's going to be interesting to see if Alexander-Arnold does play or if they go with Joe Gomez up against Heung-min Son, because Son has been causing havoc to everyone this season. He's up there in the top goal scorer charts. He's having such a good season and he's in a very good vein of form recently. So I think Son will score in this game. And I'm going to go for Liverpool not to win this one and maybe give the advantage to Man City if Man City do win this weekend. I'm going to go down the middle, 2-2. Arsenal take on Leeds next. And you've got to think, Arsenal could have pretty much secured this top 4 space. They'd probably be in 3rd right now. But their recent form has been strange because they lost 3 in a row against Palace, Southampton and Brighton, but then won 3 in a row against Chelsea, Man United and West Ham. So, very strange from Arsenal to beat those 3 sides but then lose to the other 3. And you've got to think if they hadn't have lost them, if they'd have won 1, drew 1, lost 1 out of those 3 that they lost, that gives them an extra 4 points. That puts them ahead of Chelsea. They'd be pretty much nailed on for a top 4 spot. but they've made it a little bit more interesting. They're playing a Leeds side that lost to Man City 4-0, but that came after 5 unbeaten. However, they have now slipped into a relegation battle after those 5 unbeaten because of that loss to Man City, which seems quite strange. I think Leeds are in pretty good form recently, so I don't see it being too much of an issue, but they do have quite a hard run-in, starting here against Arsenal. And for this one, I just see Arsenal having too much quality, so Arsenal to win 3-1. Leicester take on Everton now, and this is an interesting one because Leicester lost 3-1 against Spurs and they haven't won in their last 4 games. Everton, they won 1-0 at home against Chelsea, a massive, massive result for them in their bid to stay in the Premier League. However, it's going to take some doing because away, they are such a poor side. Won 1, drawn 3, lost the rest this season away. So Everton are really going to have to try and put that away form right here. And it's a good job that they're playing against a struggling Leicester side. They haven't really been at it all season. But I can't go for an Everton win because they haven't proved they can really win away at all this season. So I can't back that. But I think they can get a point. They're going to dig deep. So I'm going 1-1. Norwich take on West Ham next. And Norwich are down. First team to be officially relegated back to the Championship. And it's been a very, very poor season from them. They lost their last game 2-0 against Villa. And they've lost 3 in a row. You know, they haven't really done much this season to deserve a place in the Premier League next season. I think their business in the summer wasn't very good. They didn't really have an identity. Obviously, Daniel Farke won his first game and then got sacked. And it's all just been a bit of a catastrophe for Norwich. They're soon going to be joined by Watford, but just them down for now. They're playing a West Ham side that have lost 2 in a row and not won in 4. So could Norwich, just try not to finish bottom? They might be able to get 19th. I just can't see this game changing anyway because although West Ham aren't in great form, you just look at the sides and think that's an easy win for West Ham. And although I don't think West Ham are particularly prolific at the moment, I do think they've obviously got enough to win this one, but I think it's going to be a small scoreline. So I'm going to go West Ham win 1-0. And finally, Man City take on Newcastle. And Man City won 3 in a row, won their last game 4-0 against Leeds, but in midweek, they absolutely collapsed. Exited the Champions League in absolutely crazy fashion. They were 1-0 up against Real Madrid, which made it 5-3 on aggregate. Rodrigo comes on, 90th minute, 2 goals he scores in injury time, sends it to extra time, Benzema scores an early penalty, and it's all over. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I think Pep thought it was over. He substituted Mahrez, De Bruyne. He thought it was all done. One thing you can never do is think that it's over against Real Madrid. You have to play to the final whistle because they are the Champions League. They've won it so many times, obviously the record amount of times, and they just don't give up. In the knockout stage, they obviously had that mental comeback against PSG. They were ahead against Chelsea, then Chelsea came back, then Real Madrid sent it to extra time and won in extra time. And now against Man City, it's just Real Madrid feel inevitable, and they've booked a Champions League final against Liverpool, which could have been Man City's if they could have held on. But, Man City, they just couldn't finish the job. But in terms of the league, it means this is the only trophy available to them this season, which is interesting because could Man City go trophyless this season? I can't remember the last time they didn't win a trophy in a season, but if they don't win the league, then they haven't won a trophy. However, I think the league is Man City's. I think they're going to throw everything at it, because otherwise, that sort of Pep's Man City legacy has always been Pep versus Klopp. And if Man City don't win the league, then Liverpool have won it. Liverpool are in the Champions League final. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup. Liverpool are in the FA Cup final. This season could sort of define that little clash between Pep and Klopp. And I think Pep's just going to smash the league now. I think he's going to win all his remaining fixtures. But you never know. So put down below, do you think Man City will win the league this season? They're playing a Newcastle side that lost their last game 1-0 against Liverpool. I did feel ashamed for Newcastle, because Liverpool had a lot of shots, a lot of chances, but Newcastle really hung in there. Dubravka made some very good saves, kept them in it, and they did have a few chances to nick a point out of it, but they just couldn't get it. That came after Newcastle had won 4 in a row. However, out of their last 4 away games, they've only won 1 of them. So on the road, Newcastle aren't as good as they are at home, which makes me think Newcastle will lose this. Man City will win it quite comfortably. So I'm going to go Man City win 3-1. So, those are my predictions for these Premier League fixtures. Let me know down in the comments what your predictions are. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more Premier League content. And let's see what happens this weekend. You know, there's a few questions. Will Watford be relegated? More than likely. Will Man City or Liverpool drop points? You know, Liverpool with that tough fixture against Spurs. What's going to happen in the race for the top 4 between, you know, Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs, all sort of going for it. Obviously, Chelsea are pretty nailed on for a spot, but if they only pick up 1 or 2 points from these last few fixtures, they could be in trouble. So it's going to be a very good end to the season, and let's hope that it's as exciting as it's been throughout this season.